Good day, everyone. Our discussion now it's all about the chemistry. This topic is describe what the study of the chemistry that covers. It is also about the ways that chemistry are affect our lives and our society, and how the chemistry relates to other field of science. Have you ever wondered about the importance of chemistry in everyday lives? You might ask yourself these questions. If you're studying chemistry, finding an answer is one of the most common chemistry homework assignments. Here's a look at why chemistry matters or why the chemistry is important in everyday life. Because everything is made of chemicals. We are made of chemicals. So is your dog, so is your cellular phones, so is the sun. Drugs are also chemicals. Food is made from the chemicals. Many of the changes you observe in the world around you are caused by chemical reactions. Example include the leaves changing colors, cooking food, and getting you clean. Knowing some chemistry can help you to make a day-to-day decision that affect your life. Can I mix these household chemicals? What are safe mosquito repellents? Will my bottled water expire? Can I mix types of motor oils for my vehicles? Understanding the basic chemistry is essential for understanding the effect of the chemicals on our environment. This information can be used to give the plants the best nutrients to help them grow or to decide how to dispose the chemicals without poisoning the air or a water supply. A chemistry concepts are important in other disciplines. It is a key to culinary, biology, physics, and astronomy. Chemistry is fine. It can be used to make the color change, the alter the recipes, the color flames, and make things glow in the dark, or even make stuff explode. Many people study the chemistry not just because it is a requirement for a class, but because they are interested in using it to explore the world and to try the science project. As a habits go, the chemistry is expensive because home chemicals can use to perform many interesting experiments. Why is the chemistry is important, especially in education? Of course, it helps you to learn and to gather and organize the information based on a qualitative and a quantitative. It has also helped you to learn and to find a pattern of information. It has also helped you to learn to analyze the complex system. It has helped you also to develop the skills to predict the future event based on a pattern of behavior. It has also helped you to develop the problem solving skill based on the systematic approach. What is the significance of the chemistry? There's a lot of significance of the chemistry, especially when it comes as to what you have seen in the PowerPoint, in cooking, batteries, food, papers, PL soap, petrol, concrete, plastic, clothes, crackers, papers, and etc. When it comes to food, the food we eat is nothing but a mixture of various chemicals. From its production to cooking, chemistry are plays a very important role. Consider the tomato. They are produced in a farm. Fertilizers and the crop protection chemicals like insecticides, pesticides, herbicides, and etc. are used in farming to increase the production of the tomato. And then, ripe tomatoes are brought to food processing industries. where they are converted into a finished product like ketchup. After various stages of the food processing, different ingredients like the flavoring agents, the chemical additives, are added based on the chemistry. And finally, food products are passed on to a food safety and standard authority like the FDA and the BFAD in our country. And this authority analyzes the content of a food by a chemical test and approves the food for consumer consumption. How about when it comes to the detergent and the soap? We use a detergent and a soap for cleaning, bathing, and washing, and others. They are a mixtures of chemicals with cleaning properties, and they are manufactured in the chemical industries through the saponification of fatty acids. The common chemicals are used in soap industries are sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, lauric acid, palmitic acids, and oleic acid, and others. When it comes to the medicine, drugs are made of chemicals which are produced in pharmaceutical industries. The knowledge of chemistry is vital for pharmacists and doctors. Have you ever glanced at the label of a medicine? If yes, then you have observed the various chemical ingredients listed on the label. It is based on these ingredients medical practitioners are decide as suitable pills for patients. The chemical natures of drugs also help doctors to determine how drugs are going to interact with a patient body. For example, the antibiotics like the ciprofloxacin and levofloxacin are different on a renal function. So, the doctors who prescribe such pills are need to be prudent for a kidney patient. Chemicals are also used in sterilization, disinfection to kill the microbes. Chemistry also helps the pharmacist to understand the biochemical mechanism in the body. How about when it comes to textiles? The raw materials are used in textiles industries are wool, silk, cotton, glass fiber, polyester, acrylic, nylon, and others. These materials are transformed into the usable finished product like the clothes, bags, carpets, furnitures, towels, nets, balloons, and others. And during this transformation, the raw materials are subjected to numerous chemical processes. Pre-treatment chemicals like the cleaning and the smoothing reagent are added to clean a fabric and smoothen it. A dyeing and involved the application of a fabric to dyes and the pigments. Other chemical processes are bleaching, permanent press, desiccing, scoring, printing, and finishing. A chemist are work to improve the quality of a product or involved in the development of a new materials. But not only about that, in building and constructions are also involved in a chemistry, wherein it governs the performance of the buildings, and the building materials are play a significant role in improving the performance of building. Coating chemicals like acrylics, silicones are responsible for reflective roofs, which decreases the heat transfer. The polymers like the polyurethane reduce the weight of buildings, which also reduce the civil cost. The insulators like the polyurethane foams, the polystyrene foams are decrease the heat leak, or in other words, improve the energy efficiency of the building. The polyethylene is a lightweight and a flexible polymer which is used to create the building piping. The polyethylene piping is easily curved and deformed to desired shape. The vinyl tiles give the shining, the resilience of a flooring. Fillers like the polystyrene beds lighten the concrete without affecting the strength of the concrete. Also, the paper and the pulp industry. In the over past few decades, the paper and the pulp industries are responsible for a negative impact on the environment, wherein the paper and pulp industries are facing the great challenge to meet the environmental norms. The pollutants are released from these industries are sulfur oxide, nitrogen oxide, carbon oxide, and other heavy metals like the lead, the cadmium, and the mercury. To overcome this, industries are more focused on the green chemistry to mitigate some of the environmental challenges, and this green chemistry are able to the researchers to design the safer chemical and products to use the renewable raw materials and converse the energy and to develop the better catalyst and others. The fuel that we use in our vehicles is also one of the importance or the significance in the chemistry. The petrol, the diesel, the LPG, the CNG, the kerosene, the oils, and others are all fuels that produce from complex refining processes. And today, the transportation, especially in land, water, and air, is possible because of these fuels. And these fuels are extracted from the crude oil that found beneath the earth or ocean. Here, petrochemistry plays an important role, and it is a branch of chemistry which deals with the study of the petrochemical processes. The batteries also are used in cars, cell phones, laptop, watches, flashlight, and other power storage applications. And this battery are worked based on the principle of electrochemistry. And the energy inside the battery is stored in the form of chemical energy, which convert into the electrical energy by electrochemical reaction. It is also include why the others are important or have a significance in the chemistry is an environmental protection, wherein the chemistry is the importance or a central subject of the study of the environmental conservation. All those pollutants and the greenhouse gases, nothing but hazardous chemicals. And these pollutants are destroy our precious environment and degrade the ozone layer and enter our food chain and cause the tumors and so forth. And all this interaction of pollutants with the environment are a chemical reaction. Hence, the chemistry is a vital to elevate the environment and ourselves from these poisons. In investigation, the chemistry is also significant. It is known as a forensic chemistry, which has made job of a police officers a lot easier. The forensic helps to identify the criminals by detecting the chemical evidence that left behind the crime scenes. The chemical techniques used by the forensic investigators are spectroscopy, chromatography, X-ray diffractometry, the color test, melting points analysis, and etc. How about in ourselves? The chemistry is important? Yes. We are a biological organisms that made up of various biochemicals like the carbohydrates, proteins, vitamins, lipids, and etc. Our biological process like digestion, respiration, cellular metabolism, reproduction, and many others are accomplished by biochemical reactions. In a nutshell, we will not exist without the chemistry. Let us now go on with the history of a chemistry, or the brief history. The chemistry is from the word chemia or the alchemia, which means the chemistry or the alchemy in all English. In 8th century, Anno Domini, Jaber ibn Hayyan, one of the Muslim astronomers and the philosophers and a scientist, become one of the first to use the scientific method to study the materials. Also known by his Latinized name, Jaber, he is known as the father of chemistry. He is thought to be the author of the 22 scrolls describing the method of distillation, crystallization, sublimation, and evaporation. He has also invented the alembic, which is a device that used to distill and study the acids. He also developed an early chemicals classification system that using the properties of the material he studied. Here's a categories also. We are focusing on the spirit, the metals, and the non-malleable substances, wherein the spirit is the materials that would vaporize when heated. Wherein the metals, it is including the iron, the tin, the copper, and the lead. And the non-malleable substances, it is the materials that could be made into the powder, such as the stone. But today, we might call the similar materials known as the volatile chemicals, the metal, and the non-metals. In Europe, the study of chemistry was conducted by some alchemists with the goal of transforming the common metals into a gold or a silver and inventing a chemical elixir or a solution that would prolong life. And a basic chemical hypothesis is the first emerged in a classical Greece when Aristotle are defined the four elements of fire, air, earth, and water. It is not until the 70th and the 18th centuries when the scientists such as Robert Boyle and Anton Lavoisier were begun to reshape the old alchemical traditions into a rigorous scientific discipline. Not only those scientists who have greatest contribution to a chemistry. Also, Amadeo Avogadro, John Dalton, Dmitry Mendeleev, Henry Becquerel, Max Planck, Ernst Rutherford, Niels Bohr, James Chadwick, that have a lot of a contribution when it comes to the chemistry. But what is a chemistry is? A chemistry, it is the science that deals with the materials of the universe and the changes these materials undergo. Or it is the study of a matter and the chemical reaction between the substance. A chemistry is also known as a central science, where the understanding most other field of a science are required and understanding of a chemistry. There are five main branches of a chemistry and with the sub-branches. There is a huge overlap between the chemistry and biology, medicine, physics, geology, and many other disciplines. A chemistry, it is an incredible, fascinating field of study because it is so fundamental to our world. Chemistry plays a role in everyone's lives and touches almost every aspect of our existence in some way. Chemistry is the study of matter and energy and the interaction between them. There are many reasons to study the chemistry, even if you aren't pursuing a career in science. A chemistry is everywhere in the world around you. Yes, in the food you eat, clothes you wear, water you drink, medicine, air, cleaners, and you name it. A chemistry sometimes is called as a central science because it connects other sciences to other to each other, such as the biology, physics, geology, and environmental science. Here are some of the best reasons why we need to study a chemistry. A chemistry helps you to understand the world around you. Why do leaves changing in color in the fall? Why our plants are green? How is the cheese are made? And what is the soap? How does it clean? And these are all questions that can be answered by applying the chemistry. The basic knowledge of a chemistry helps you to read and understand the product label. The chemistry can help you to make informed the decision. Will a product work as advertised or is it scam? If you understand how chemistry works, you'll be able to separate the reasonable expectation from the pure fiction. The chemistry is an open up career option. There are many careers in a chemistry. But even if you're looking for a job in other field, the analytical skills you gain in a chemistry are helpful. A chemistry applies to the food industry, retail, sales, transportation, arts making, or really any type of the work you can name. The chemistry is fun. There is a lot of interesting chemistry projects you can do using common everyday materials. The chemistry project don't just go boom, and they can glow in the dark, change in color, produces the bubbles, and changes the states. What are the some discipline in a chemistry? They have a lot. As we observe in our PowerPoint, the discipline of chemistry is focusing on the atmospheric, the chemical engineering, the environment, the solid state physics, forensic science, biochemistry, medicine, agricultural science, as what I mentioned earlier. But what are these branches of the chemistry? But the chemistry has the power to explain innumerable phenomena in the world, from the ordinary to the bizarre. And why is this iron rust? What makes the propane such an efficient, clean burning fuels? How can a soot and a diamond be so different in appearance yet so chemically similar? Chemistry has the answer to these questions and many more. The branches of chemistry, traditionally, a chemistry has been broken into 5 main subdisciplines, such as the organic, analytical, physical, inorganic, and biochemistry. Organic chemistry, it is a subfield of a chemistry that involves the studying of the molecules of life. It is mainly concerned with looking at the structures and the behavior of these molecules, which are composed of only a few different types of an atom, such as the carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and other few miscellaneous others. And these are the atoms that used to construct the molecules that are plants and animals that require for their survivals. The organic chemistry are divided into or overlapping with many areas, including the medicinal chemistry, organometallic chemistry, polymer chemistry, physical organic chemistry, and stereochemistry. The analytical chemistry, it is the science of identification and quantification of materials in mixtures. Analytical chemists may invent the procedures for analysis, or they may use or modify the existing ones. They supervise and perform and interpret the analysis. The analytical chemistry is also include the forensic chemistry, environmental chemistry, and the bioanalytic chemistry. When it comes to the physical chemistry, it is a study of the fundamental or physical principles that govern the way that the atoms, molecules, and other chemical systems are behaved. Physical chemistry study a wide array of the topics such as the rates of the reactions, or known as the kinetics, and the way that the lights and the matter interact, or the spectroscopy, and how the electrons are arranged in an atoms and the molecules, or known as the quantum mechanics, and the stabilities and the reactivities of the different compounds and the processes, or known as the thermodynamics. And this physical chemistry also include the photochemistry, the surface chemistry, the chemical kinetics, the quantum chemistry, and the spectroscopy. The inorganic chemistry, it is a commonly thought of as those areas within the chemistry that do not deals with the carbon. But however, the carbon is a very important in many inorganic compound, and this is the whole areas of study that known as the organometallic chemistry, that is truly a hybrid of the traditional discipline of organic and inorganic chemistry. And some areas of inorganic chemistry that are especially important are the bioinorganic chemistry, the geochemistry, the nuclear chemistry, organometallic chemistry, and the solid state chemistry. And the biochemistry naman, it is the study of the chemical principles underlying the basic biological system. Fundamentally, the biochemical research are aimed to characterize the link between the structures and the functions of biological macromolecules. More specifically, the biochemical research has provided the more comprehensive understanding in regenerative medicine, infectious diseases, organ and tissue transplantation, clinical diagnostics, and the genetic diseases. And there are some branches of the biochemistry known as the molecular biology, the genetics, the pharmacology, the toxicology, the clinical biochemistry, and of course the agricultural biochemistry. What is the nature of science? Why it is important to study? The nature of science, of course, we need to know not only a simple way, but also based on these three C's. Because of the curiosity, it is the time that we need to promote, or to have and new materials that we have nowadays. The experiment, the other procedures that we do. And of course, with this, also we need to be a creativity. We need to create the new one to be able to have a new product that we use nowadays. And of course, critical thinking. As what I've said, we need to think deeper and deeper to be able to know what was they have, or was the questions that we have in our mind to solve. But with this science, of course, we need to solve the problem. But with solving the problem, we use a scientific approach, or known as the scientific inquiry, wherein it is the science, the systematic process of inquiring about the event and the things, and of using this knowledge to make further investigations and initiate the changes. And of course, on how this inquiry takes place and decides the attitude and the behavior that are necessarily among the scientists. But how can we use this approach? Of course, every product or anything in this world We cannot solve or we cannot create a new one without a problem. Of course, the first one, we need to define the problem. After you defining the problem, of course, you need to gather the information. And with this information, maybe it is based on the fact or maybe it is based on your observation. And of course, with this problem, you need to propose a solution for that by organizing the information and look for the pattern or known as the hypothesis. And of course, the last one, it is to evaluate your proposed solution by testing your pattern by using them to predict what will happen. And with that, to be able to have the result based on your hypothesis is you need to gather the data or you need experiment. But this scientific method or the scientific inquiry, um, it is a process of studying the natural phenomena that involve the making the observation or forming the law and the theories and the testing the theories by experimentation. In a scientific method, as what I've said, we need to observe, we need to formulate the hypothesis and perform the experiment. By the observation, maybe it is a qualitative or the quantitative, the secretion of the like the insect are usually deposited on the trees. It is the source of the shellac, a material used in a varnish or a sealing wax. In the part of the 20th century, the supply could not keep up with the demand for the materials. That was the example of the problem that I have. And of course, the hypothesis that I made is some of the chemists are thought that it might be a possible to synthesize a material with a similar properties. Means you compare from one form to another. And of course, this is the time that you need to experiment. Like a good scientist, before conducted the experiment, they searched the literature for studies that had been done on the preparation of the similar materials. And we need to report about the failure and that lead to the success. And of course, it is also sense was the searching for a substitute for a shellac, which itself is an insoluble solid, and some researchers are decided to repeat the experiment of a different researchers. Okay, and so, ayan. And it is research or experiment not only once, twice, thrice, or a many. First with that, the repeated process until we get a well-tested explanation. And if it has happened, it is time to known as the theory. It makes as a theory, which is the assumption that put forth to explain some aspect of the observed behavior of matter that you experiment. May need to be modified or discarded as a new information observation becomes known. But while experimenting may observe the same behavior all the time, means the result of your experiment from other experimental scientists, the other researchers, and the result is the same at all time, and therefore it's be able to predict this behavior will always occur in the future, and it becomes the law, or it is generally observed the behavior without explanation as to why the behavior occur. Means how was this two are different, the theories and the law. The law are predict what will happen, while the theories are explaining why something happened, which will also allow you to predict that will happen. Okay, the various part of the scientific method again. Okay, it is, of course, you formulate the problem, and then after that, you need to observe, and after the observation, based on your hypothesis, and then experiment. And based on the different behaviors or the result, of course, it will become a theory. And if the result about different researchers are the same, it becomes the law. But then when it comes to the theory, it's not the end of the experiment. It is not the end of the study. It's not the end of the problem. Because the result, you need to create a new problem. Or based on your conclusion, you need to create a problem. Through the prediction again, and the experiment, and then modify it again as needed. Okay, but what is the best approach in learning a chemistry? Okay, why there's a lot of people, there's a lot of students are not happy or not enjoy when it comes to chemistry. The best approach in learning a chemistry, it is a very simple. You need to learn the vocabulary of a chemistry through the definition of the terms and how the common vocabulary is applied to a chemistry. Memorize the important information like the names, the formulas, the charges of the polyatomic ions, and the other one is the solubility rules. And of course, you learn and practice the processes by systematic names and the formulas or by the dimensional analysis. And of course, do the questions and exercise at the end of the chapter to test your understanding and help you by seeing the patterns. Again, thank you so much, and God bless everyone, and stay safe.